perceived as a normal person. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking, you know, having a job, you know, like, you know, paying a mortgage, having a missus, having a son, etc., etc. You go from that, right? Fucking, her family never liked me anyway, okay? So that's the main crux of the issue. So I was always up against it. My back was always against the wall anyway. So nothing I ever did was good enough, right? Anyway, so it carries on and on, but there's a lot of internal things that happened there. But basically, we ended up splitting up, okay? There was a lot of pressure from her family. We've been together 8 years. I mean, relationships run their course naturally anyway. We had a son, a child, puts on a lot of pressure. And we split up. I mean, I was made redundant before we split up. I mean, that was from the fucking Yellow Pages, but I was only agency staff. I worked there for nearly 4 years, but I was only working through per temps. So obviously when I got made redundant, there was no severance package. There was no fucking, you know, redundancy pay. There was nothing. They literally fucking called us in on a Friday afternoon and said, you guys are losing your jobs. And we had a week. But me being stubborn, I chose not to go back the next week. They said to you, you know, you got 7 days, guys. You know, they didn't even have to do that. They could have just told us to go out the door then, because that was the, you know, legal sort of rights that we had. They could have told us to fuck off then, but they said you got a week. And the next week I didn't work it. Yeah, being stubborn, I told them to fuck off. Now, I did struggle. I mean, people out here will tell you that everything's like somebody else's fucking fault. You know, there is an element here of like, you know, I didn't give up, but like, you know, as I said, when your back's against the wall, you're in a difficult situation. Mortgage payments are mounting up, or rent, or whatever it may be. You know, after you lose a job, you know, like, yeah, my back was against the wall. And I started drinking, you know what I mean, like fucking, as a coping mechanism, I guess. And yeah, it became, you know, I always drank, but not to a problematic extent, do you know what I mean? And like fucking, then her family started rallying around, it became more and more and more. And it got to the point where one day we had a violent argument, violent in terms of like me smashing up the house, not her, fucking, do you know what I mean? It got really bad. And that was kind of it. Her parents spirited her away, paid for her to move in with my son in a new place. You know, her dad put up the fucking money. She's from a rich family. Put up the money and the deposit and moved her out of there. And so I had X amount of time left in the place we were living. And yeah, I did. I kind of gave up. I fucking, do you know what I mean? Like, I'll admit that. You know, I should have probably been a man and said, right, I need to fucking get a job now. I've got X amount of time, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't. I fucking gave up. I started drinking. I thought, fuck it, fuck the world. You know, I felt that I'd done so much and paid into so much, invested so much in the relationship, and it had all gone to shit so quickly. Do you know what I mean? And that's the fucking God's honest truth. And yeah, I did. Like, people will tell you that it's everybody else's fault and none of it's their fault. Some of this is my fault. But yeah, then when you end up out here, it's a lot fucking more difficult to fix it. Do you know what I mean? Once you get here, try fixing that shit. You know what I mean? Maybe if I'd have tried to fix that shit when I had fucking a month left in the house we used to live in, you know, after she'd gone to the place her dad had paid for, maybe if I'd have tried to fix it then, you know, but I didn't. I admit that. I was depressed. I was pissed off. I was fucking, you know, I couldn't believe all this shit happened in such a small scale of time. You know, fucking job and relationship fuck up within weeks of each other, and you know, here we go. So yeah, and then I ended up here and I started drinking and shit, and you know, then you get out here, you know, there's a lot of shit out here. There you go. So I've talked too much on that one question, do you know what I mean? It's crazy, but like, you know, but yeah, whatever. So that make of it what you will. Slow system would be the best way of putting that. Yeah, there are things in place, I guess. Do you know what I mean? You're certainly not a fucking priority. I'd put it that way. Do you know what I mean? Especially as I said before to you, out here, there's a lot of issues. You know, like with myself personally, drinking and stuff. Thank you. Drinking and that. You know, there's a lot of druggies out here. There's a lot of fucking. You know, there's people who are ex-services. There's people with depression. There's mental health issues. Do you know what I mean? There's motherfuckers out here who belong in Broadmoor. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but. Yeah, and they're not getting it. Like, God knows what's happened to them. I mean, everyone's got a different individual story, I guess. I mean, I don't know fucking what their situation is, but, you know, there's a lot of different tales, put it that way. There's a lack of immediate support, you know, i.e. like fucking, do you know what I mean? Like the first night I fucking ever slept out on the street, man, I was fucking almost crying. Do you know what I mean? It ain't fucking pleasant. I tell you, dude, like it's really not fucking pleasant. So, you know, and it takes a while to access those services, to find out where you got to go, what you got to do, or essentially sometimes they come and find you, you know, that they would occasionally do walk around and you know, say what's the deal and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there's no immediate fucking fix, there's no, and there wouldn't be, but like, you know, there's nothing you can do straight away to say, right, I'm fucking on the street now, who do I go to? Do you know what I mean? And if you're like me and you don't have a family and you don't have, you know, well, I did have friends. I did spend some time with friends and stuff. But if you don't have a family or anybody that will say, right, I'll put you up for however long it takes for you to get fixed, then you're out here. And that's the other main thing, you know. Essentially, yeah. I mean, there are fucking hostels. There is the Salvation Army and that, but that stuff's like waiting list. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of that sort of deal. So you know, I'm on the list for that shit as well. There are street services. There are people that come around to help. There are certain provisions. There are certain handouts. You know, that will give you sandwiches 3 nights a week or things like that. There is stuff. But essentially, as in terms of when you're totally homeless and sleeping on the street all the time, yeah, fucking. But it's not on the street. I mean. It's a misconception to think people sleep in a fucking doorway. They go to car parks or they go to, you know, or an empty house or a building or a squat, you know, things like that, you know. So yeah, that's what it is. Oh, indeed, it's essentially, yeah, you know, that's the fucking, do you know what I mean? That's the thing for me. There's a lot of smackheads out here, you know, a lot of crackheads, a lot of fucking, do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, if I said to you I'd never touch that shit, you know, since I've been out here, I'd be lying to you. So, you know, I have, only since I've been out here, man, you know, I don't, you know, it's a dark world, man. That's what keeps people out here, you know what I'm saying? Well, alcohol does too, but, you know, again, it's a dark world. I don't think so. I mean, it's tough, man. It's so when people find themselves out here, you know, including myself, you know, you can't fucking give up, man. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, even someone like myself, like myself, you know, I pretty much always worked. You know, since I left school, I had no fucking choice. You know what I mean? Like, you know, ever since I was a little kid, you know, I had a paper round. I had 2 paper rounds, man. I always worked, you know. It's like fucking, and then you end up out here. But then you get people, you know, you get all sorts of different stories. You'll find that when you go around talking to different people, you get all sorts of fucking different stories. It's kind of an adapt and overcome situation, you know what I mean? It's like you haven't got a fucking choice but to cope. You find yourself in a situation, you've got to deal with it, innit? You either fucking crumble or you fucking get on with it. It's as simple as that, do you know what I mean? It's not going to do me any good to walk around with tears in my eyes and fucking go around crying around the street, because these other motherfuckers out here will take advantage of you. If you're like that, then, you know what I mean, you'll get the you know, the shit kicked out of you and whatnot, and bullied and beaten up. I ain't like that. So, I was never like that in my normal life, and I'm not like that out here. So, yeah, you know, you just cope with it, do you know what I mean? You get on. You have no fucking choice.